Alright guys, Shane back and I'm here with another vinyl update now. I just posted just a few days ago my stuff I got in England updates, and it's been back about 3 or 4 weeks now, and I collected a lot of shit between now and then. As a matter of fact, I had to slow this down. I'm going to go through this very fast just because I got so much shit. I want to get this done in about 45 minutes. So let's get into it. I mean, I got a lot of stuff to show you. A lot. Cassettes, I got a few that were $1 a piece. I'm going to go through these very fastly. This is Ari Essinger, Philadelphia guitarist, doing kind of like old, sort of like Scott Joplin meets like older, like kind of jazz into like old-timey blues, like 1930s guitarist, like that kind of thing. Jazzy blues, more like probably on the blues side, but I thought this was really interesting for $1, and so I grabbed it. It is called "You Don't Understand" off Second Mind Records, 1991. So Ari Essinger from Philly, PA, still playing, as I know. Two from the Who. I'll just show them at the same time. Meaty Beady Big and Bouncy. This is a greatest hits compilation. I love this record. This is almost as good as a studio record, if you ask me, by the Who. And a quick one, wow, a quick one / Happy Jack are both on here. I think this has also got the Who Sell Out on here. It does. So it's like 2-album cassette. Pretty cool to have. A quick one was the second follow-up to their debut album. Put that on there. Get this hot in here. A quick one is their follow-up to My Generation. Yeah, shit. Won't have that on there, I guess. A quick one is their follow-up to My Generation. I like this. This is the first aspect of the rock opera, which is to come with like an 11-minute song called "A Quick One While She's Away" or whatever. Is that right? A quick one while he's away. Yeah, Quick One While He's Away. That's like an 11-minute song. This has got Happy Jack, Boris the Spider, great Who songs on here. And this is, like I said, this is a greatest hits compilation released in the, what? It was just reissued on cassette in 1990, but I'm pretty sure this came out in the early 70s. And this is a greatest hits compilation of the Who. These were $1 a piece. A few $3 CDs or cassettes. I got, I think, 2 of them. No, I did not. Yes, I did. A few $3 cassettes here to show you. Fishbone, Reality of My Surroundings. This one came out in the early 90s. 91 on Sony. Kind of got a booklet with it. I really shouldn't. If I'm going to get through these fast, I'm going to get a nice booklet with it. Picture of the band. This is like their sort of metal album. This is a really heavy album by them, by Fishbone. Well, I think, you know, when I think about it more and more, they're really kind of soul brothers to like Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were doing kind of similar things. Of course, Fishbone added, I think, a lot more horns and had ska elements in their music, at least some of the stuff I had heard. But I think they are sort of like more akin to Red Hot Chili Peppers than they would be probably any other band, like 24/7 Spies maybe being another one of those. But yeah, soul funk from the early 90s. But this one's more metal, more hard rock sounding. So check this one out. Reality of My Surroundings. Manu Negra and Putas Fever. Yeah, well, she's got a cover on, so I'm not gonna fucking sweat it too much. Yeah, this is 1989 Virgin release, and I'm not sure how to describe Manu Negra. It's world music. I think these guys are from France, but it has rock and roll elements. I mean, I would say they kind of remind me a little bit of like Gogol Bordello, you know, to an extent. But they're not like, it's not gypsy punk, but it is like rock with world music thrown into it. Like gypsy music thrown into Go Bordello. It's kind of not the same. It's not punk or anything, but it's, you know, in the same world, I guess. This is a lot of fun. The songs are really catchy. There's a lot to like here. So yeah, Mano Negra, Putas Fever. Fucking great title. When I saw this, I just thought it was an old world cassette. It was $3. I was like, fuck it, I'll take a chance on it. Two more $3 cassettes before we get into more of the higher end cassettes. And I got quite a few of those. Urge Overkill, Saturation. Now this is something I had on cassette and listened to fairly religiously when I was in my early 20s. Yes, this is a great record. Their first major label debut, and it is a stunner. There's a lot of diversity on here. Songs like Stalker that are really heavy, to High School Dropout. Is that what that song's called? Dropout, sorry. The Stalker's super heavy. The beautiful Erica Kane, Night and Grace, kind of a fun song, I guess. Positive Bleeding is catchy. Sister Havana is a rocker. And then you end the album with fucking, probably their best ballad in my opinion, Heaven 90210. I mean, that song is just fantastic. But they were pretty good at doing ballads, Urge Overkill. And because I'm from Michigan, Chicago bands always be near and dear to my heart, as Urge Overkill is. This one was $3. It fucking tickled to get it for $3. I saw the CD, and I was like, no, I don't need to get that. Coda, I didn't need to get this at all, and I got it anyways. So fucking stupid of me. Yeah, let me pull this in more. I think it's gonna be easier for me to sit back. Yeah, I didn't need this. I think these were all songs that were pre-recorded, never released to vinyl, like songs that should have been on In Through the Outdoor. I don't really need to say a lot about this. This is really, for a lot of people, their least favorite record, and I really like Coda. Ozone Baby, what is it, Darlene? Yeah, there's some good songs on here. Yeah, for sure. So I've been on a Zepp kick this year since that fucking movie came out, that documentary about Led Zeppelin. Alright, let's see if I can get through these next ones fairly quickly. Yeah, you hear the shuffling. I think what I'll do is I'll show the, no, I'll show those towards the end. Yeah, I already showed that one. Wild Wing, band is Wild Wing, and this is The Glory Forever. I like the cover. LA based, noisy, really on the noisy end of garage rock. Garage, I don't know if it's punk, I'd say it's more kind of like more garage rock than I had heard. I think I'm really sick of hearing this kind of music, but Doug played it for me in the store. Everything I got here was at Jerk Dog Records for the most part. So he played it for me, and I was just like, it's fucking $5. If I don't like it, I can sell it. So I'm just kind of getting really at the bottom end of just music in general. I feel like I'm getting kind of tired of it, buying so much all the time, that I need a break from it. And I'm gonna get one in July. In July, I might go back and just show you stuff I've had in my pot collection for a while. I don't really like doing that. I feel like that's cheating, but Reverend Horton Heat, it's our martini time. This was one of this better albums that, according to the critics, he sort of got tired out and no longer had the same sort of fire and compassion or passion for the music, and it feels worn. He's feeling wore thin on this album, and I'm like, you go out and go on the fucking road, and had to make album after album after album, and now he's on Interscope Records, and see what you can do. I always find these critics to be completely unrealistic. You know, I was thinking of that Good Trouble album by R.O. Speedwagon, the follow-up to High Infidelity. They literally had to write that on the fucking fly and get that released with a lot of fucking record company fucking pressure. We need a hit as big as Keep On Loving You, and they had a few on that album, but it was a disappointment compared to High Infidelity. And it's just like these people are so in fucking like, like unrealistic. There's a few real heavy songs on here. The first song on here, Big Red Rocket of Love, is fantastic. Rock the joint. There's still palpable sort of rock and roll energy on this album by Reverend Horton Heat. This one was $6. So, I mean, fuck that. That's what I have to say to them. I just pucked this up Saturday, the Clash's first album. Not enough to say about this one. This is a fucking great record. Yeah, I don't need to say anything. If you're a Clash fan, you know as well as I know. So, alright. So, yeah, the Clash, I got so much stuff out here to show you guys that it's like I just don't have the space for all of it. So I'm going to have to be picking stuff up and all that kind of stuff. So, Strange Days, Here We Come. This one was $8. This is the most expensive. This and the next one are the most expensive ones I bought. This is a really strange record by the Smiths. Their oddest sounding record from like a melodic point of view. It doesn't have the same ground. Even lyrically, the songs are a little off. This is considered to be one of their worst records, and I love this record. I always thought this one had a real strange appeal to me, because this is one I probably listened. This and Meat is Murder were probably the two I had listened to first before the self-titled or Hatful of Hollow or The Queen is Dead or any of those. So I always had kind of an affinity for this record and still do. So Smiths, God bless you. And last but not least, for the cassettes. Well, we're not done with the cassettes yet. I still got a few more. This is Dim the Lights, Chill the Ham, Shadowy Men from a Shadowy Planet. Fucking weird, quirky band from the 90s. I love this band from Canada. It's kind of like surf instrumental music with an indie rock feel to it. It's a lot of fun. This is off the Cargo label. And this is the one I had on CD back in the day, or even on cassette. I'm really trying to find 90s alternative rock cassettes on here. So yeah, this is cool. All right. Last three were all local acts. I kind of wanted to show these to get, not local, but these are like homemade cassettes, and I think these are kind of cool. I like to spotlight these every now and then to give these bands a chance. This is a split between two different kind of bands. I think they're both from Florida, Sterile Garden and Novasac. Novasac is named after a guy named Novasac. I don't know his first name, but some of the, I think I want to say Sterile Garden is more a drone with some ambient kind of stuff in it, noise, instrumental music, and Novasac is more grind noise, if I'm correct. This one was $6. I love these kind of cassettes. I'm going to send some of these to my friend Andrew, just because he loves this kind of music too. I mean, I'm not even going to keep some of these just because I know he likes this stuff. This is Juice Machine, and it is a cassette called A Gates, and it's only got 2 songs on it, recorded in 2023. The 2 people in the band were Heather and Roger, and I believe Heather, whatever her last name was, she passed away, which is kind of sad. But experimental noise from Eugene, Oregon. Once again, I kind of like these. I gotta go through these like real fast. And last but not least, some great grind noise here. This is Noxious Ox with Cemetery Dissolver. Noxious Ox, A-U-X. Noxious Ox. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. This is some great fucking grindcore here, noise grind from members of Human Fluid Rot and from Novasac. So the Novasac project, which I showed you earlier, the guy who was in Novasac was also a Noxious Ox. So maybe I'll meet him someday. It'd be kind of cool. All right, and that's the end of the cassettes. Let's get into the vinyl, or the CDs before we get into the vinyl. The first, I'm going to, just like I said, I'm going to try to pump through some of these. These first 5 I picked up at Goodwill, and they're all awesome, so I'm going to show them to you real quick. If you like 90s hip-hop, In Too Deep with Back to the Hotel. Now you can see the Goodwill sign, $1.99 on here. Now there were a bunch of them in there. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna grab all of them. This has some, like, I guess it's considered gangster rap, but it's got a lot of like dance beats into it, hip hop, rap from the early 90s. This one's more dance so than anything. I want to say I think these guys were from Chicago. I forget where they are, but they transported out to California. So In Too Deep, Back to the Hotel. I think out by that San Francisco, Oakland area, where they were based. Somebody could tell me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, I thought this was quite good. It was fun. Arabian Prince with Brother Ahab. This is some fucking tongue-in-cheek dirty rap. Arabian Prince, of course, was in NWA, and this is fun. Like, he's got a song in here called "She's Got a Big Posse." Yeah, Never Caught Slippin'. Pretty dirty kind of thing. Gangster rap from the early 90s. I had a lot of fun, like a sense of humor to it too. I always thought that was the one thing with NWA that people didn't get, was just how fucking funny they were. They were, you know, like fuck the police and all this shit, but they were so funny. They made an album, I forget the name of it, but it's like absolutely hysterical with some of the songs about crime and the stuff they want to commit, you know. And then they make a movie about them, and the movie's like, it tries to make them be martyrs. It's like, give me a break. You know, were they getting fucked around with the system, the record system? Sure, but come on now. Too Short, Shorty the Pimp. This is another one that's got a little bit of a dirtiness to it, man. There is some fucking like nasty lyrics in this by Too Short, and I only really know like one album by him. It's the one where he's like kind of looking over a grave. That one, and I can't even think of the name of that album. But yeah, this is some fucking nasty lyrical stuff and fun, and this at the same point, Hoochie. He's got something called Hoochie with one of the guys from Tony, Dwayne Wiggins from Tony singing on this, which I can't really, you know, it doesn't seem like it would mix, but I always liked Too Short. He was really clever. I liked his lyrics. He's fun, you know. Somebody please tell me what that song is. Ice Cube, Death Certificate. Yeah, absolutely, for $2 I'll get this. I can't even say some of the words that are on this album, but The Funeral's cool, Steady Mobbin', Giving Up the Nappy Dugout, A Bird in the Hand. There's some good, this is some primo, excellent, early 90s hip-hop, gangsta rap. But Ice Cube, I mean, is no joke with some of these early albums. Lethal Injection and this one, you can't go wrong with these albums. I'm sure I'm missing some, but those are the first two I can think of off the top of my head. So Ice Cube is he's not fucking around in this early stuff. And then like give him like 10, 15 years and he fucking does Disney movies. Yeah. Sir Mix-a-Lot, Mac Daddy. This does not have Baby's Got Back on it, but it's got a lot of cool songs. This came out, I think, in 1989, and Sir Mix-a-Lot was from Seattle, or from the Seattle area, bringing hip hop to the Northwest, you know, which is kind of cool. Some fun songs on here. Something About My Benzo is hilarious. My Hoopty is funny. Lyrically, he's pretty smart. He's not just, I think a lot of people think he's just this like Baby's Got Back, and I mean, he is funny, but I think some of the songs on here are pretty clever lyrically. So it's like something I never really even thought of with Sir Mix-a-Lot. But yeah, this came out in what, 1989. Yeah, before the song My Baby's Got Back came out, maybe a year later. So good stuff. And that's it for the Goodwill CDs. Let's just keep going because I'm on a roll right now. A few from the Ramones. I got Brain Drain. Always loved this album. 1988 album. This album gets no love, you know. It's actually considered one of the worst albums from the 80s. I absolutely love this fucking record. I like Pet Sematary, of course. I like the first song on here, I Believe in Miracles. Punishment Fits the Crime. This kind of teeters between being a punk album and being like a college rock album, and maybe that was a problem a lot of people had, or they just didn't think the songs were as good on here. I disagree. I think this is a really solid record to them, but maybe the pop punk part, you know, Rocket to Russia and Ramones Leave Home, and you're not gonna hear that as much on here. I mean, you hear it in songs like Palisades Park, but this is definitely different, more of a college rock sound to it, I think, and a good one, in my opinion. I've always liked this record. I remember getting it on vinyl when I was like a kid, and yeah, I thought it was really good. Acid Eaters. This is a cover of old psychedelic songs. I love this record. A song they cover like 7 Here by Love, and Journey to the Center of Mind by Amboy Dukes, Substitute by The Who, which Extra Peter Townsend actually sings on. I always loved this record too. I loved the record, this and Mondo Bizarro. I really loved those records in the 90s. I never had because I probably didn't listen to the older 70s records till later on. My point of reference to the Ramones was always Ramones Mania, Pet Sematary, Mondo Bizarro, Acid Eaters. Some of the 90s stuff was the stuff I was listening to. And I'm certainly glad I kind of kept that mentality and went back and listened to some great albums. If I would have listened to those early albums, I would have probably been really like judgmental and been like, oh, this sucks. But yeah, this is great stuff. Ramones, Acid Eaters. And last but not least, for the $3 records, I have Gangrene, You Got It. 1987 record off of Roadrunner Records. Fucking great thrash. Really, really good thrash. And this is not hardcore. This is like kind of crossover at this point. I mean, it's cover. It's crossover to me, and it's really good. Songs like Sheetrock, Ballerina Massacre, Party with the Devil, a sense of humor, and the weird song on here. And one of the weirdest songs I've heard by Gangrene, or by any punk band in general, 6 Sex 6. That song is fucking bizarre, and it's a real long track. It's like 6 minutes long. 6 Sex 6. You got to hear this if you haven't heard it. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, somebody was selling this. I got this for $3. Gangrene's good stuff. They're one of the original early hardcore bands out of Boston. So a few kind of CDs that I spent some money on. These were like $7 a piece. We'll stay on that punk brethren. This is the Dicks with Peace. This is the Dicks with These People, and Peace, which I think is a EP with 4 tracks on it. On the Alternative Tentacle label. I don't know if it was reissued on that label or they went on that label. I think though there were another band like NDC that moved from Texas to San Francisco area. Gary, I always get his name wrong. Is it Floyd? Or I think is it Gary Floyd, the lead singer? Has got such a great fucking voice. This is where they really start turning their sound around and giving it kind of more like a college rock sound, I guess. I don't know. It's still punk to me. It's not like straight up hardcore, you know, than like their first album. But I love this record by the Dicks. It's actually my favorite record by them. So yeah, it's cool to have. Yeah, we're getting through these fast. This is awesome. Voivod and To the Death 84. Lost original cassette demo recording, re-recorded, and now it's on CD. Fucking awesome. So Alternative Tentacles actually released this too. Doug has a contract with those guys, and so this is fucking sweetness to me, I think. So yeah, it's probably stuff like War and Pain, pre-War and Pain. At this point, they were kind of a speed into thrash metal band. Voivod. I kind of think I like this stuff the best, although I'm a big fan of, you know, when they went down that progressive route, I'm a big fan of that. But this is kind of like their earlier stuff I love, because I love this, the early like thrash speed stuff in the early 80s, or early to mid 80s is my favorite shit in the world. So I mean, it's probably my favorite metal music period. So a few from, and I just picked these up this weekend. I'm fucking happy to have these. Fucking Wesley Willis, and this is Rush Street. First album that was signed to Alternative Tentacles, and a dandy of a fucking record. I love this album by Wesley Willis. Well, I don't love it. I like this album. I definitely has a slow soulfulness on this album. Their rock, I think they rocked harder when he had the Diabolical 3 behind him, who was a short-lived band of guys who lived in Chicago. Of course, Wesley Willis was schizophrenic, and I met him one time, and he's strange. I walked up to him because I caught the end of one of his sets, and I walked up to him, and he was opening. It wasn't even a main act, and he goes, "How you doing? Hey, good looking out." And he just like walked right by me, and I'm like, man, he's awesome. Big dude too, real big dude. But you knew him because he had those like one kind of dreads, and he always had a smile on his face. And Wesley Willis in the Drag News. This is Greatest Hits Volume 3, and a ton of songs. Once again, this is something that was released off Alternative Tentacles, and is awesome. The songs on here like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, My Mother Smokes Crack Rocks, Gingerbread Knocked Me Out. I can't even say some of them, but yeah, they're great. Make My Joy Plane Crash and Burned. I Whipped Spider-Man's Ass. I've heard that song. That's fun. So, lots of songs on here. I've been looking for some Wesley Willis for a long time. It really fucking hits a fucking cool point for me to get those on vinyl. You know, very, very cool to have. Alright, let's get into the albums next. I got a lot of albums to show you, and I don't have a ton of time to show them, so alright, I got a stack full here. We're just going to go through these real fast. This one I just picked up. This is Frank Sinatra's September of My Years. This is all 1965 release on Reprise. That's in decent shape. I mean, sometimes when you see the back records in the back like this, you think they're going to be like golden, and it fucking isn't. There's some scratches on it, but it's in fairly good shape for $3. Yeah, this has got September of My Years on here. It was a very good year. Something about some of the records he made in the 60s are really somber. And this is one of those somber sort of affairs. And he's also being retrospective in this, you know. I like Sinatra. I pick his stuff up every now and then. I'm always finding something new when I listen to him. There's always something kind of more interesting going on listening to him, I think. You know. Romantics, I just picked this one up too. This one was $5. Yeah, this one was cool. Shit, I did not want to show. Well, I'm just going to show them in the order I have them at this point. This one will be out of order price-wise, but I don't care. First album of the Romantics, power pop goodness with a 60s. Real fucking, these guys had a real fucking pronounced love of the Who and Kinks, and even I would say Paul Revere and the Raiders and all those 60s bands. And they have a little bit of a love for the blues too, and they kind of mix that and some soul together, and they make one of the more interesting late 70s power pop albums. This is a great record. This of course has the big hit on here, What I Like About You, but it's also got Tell It to Carrie on here, which is a great song. So yeah, if you're going to get a Romantics record, this would be the one to get. You know, I'm not going to show you the inside because it's boring. God. Abilene, Texas own Johnny D and the Rocket 88s. So I got this one for $3. This is a 1980 release. I think it's self-released, and it is quite good. Quite good. It's quite schlocky in its goodness. Kind of like, this kind of reminds me of like Sean on kind of 50s retro rock and roll, like Flash Continental and the Cadillac Kids, in that sort of vein. The music is done real well, the good sax. Johnny D has a good voice. Just not really my kind of thing. I was hoping that this would be potentially be fucking new wave, but it is not. Sadly not. It is not. Retro rock and roll. Johnny D and the Rocket 88s. Now this one was thrown to my pile by accident, but I said, fuck it, I'll just buy it. Flirting with Disaster, Molly Hatchet. I had some records, I sat them down, and I had them next to some, and then fucking Doug just grabbed them and charged me for them. I'm not mad about it, because this is definitely an upgrade over the copy I have. This is a great record. I think this is their second record, I want to say. Their first record is excellent. I might not even have this record by them, you know. Great Southern rock. This has got Flirting with Disaster, their standard song, but Whiskey Man is great on here. Boogie No More, Good Rockin'. I think of this record like it's more like a rock and roll record, like a Southern rock and roll record, more than like hard rock. Although there are some hard rock tendencies, but I think Molly Hatchet always kind of like strayed the line between rock and roll and Southern rock and hard rock. They were always kind of bouncing around one of those three genres, you know. So, pretty cool to have. Kool and the Gang, something special. Yeah, there's something special about Kool and the Gang, alright. Get down on it. Get down on it. This was the follow-up album to Celebration. You know, of course, Celebration was a huge hit for them. And they produced 2 killer tracks on here. Get Down on It and Take My Heart, which is fucking great. I heard a few other songs like Pass It On and Good Time Tonight. I think this is kind of, to me, like a pedestrian album by them. They come back hard with An Emergency, which I think is a great album by them. And I don't know if that's the follow-up to this or not, but I don't think it is, but I don't remember. But that album's great. It's got like Fresh and Misled on it. That's a great album by them. But this to me is just like they're kind of going through the motions. But they do create a few like killer tracks on here. And it's got that 80s dance soul sort of funk done in a real poppy way. The Alarm's first EP. I think it's just called The Alarm. Yeah. The Alarm. Love this band, arena rock band. Well, in the essence of like U2 and Simple Minds, like that kind of arena rock band. But not really. Political motivated lyrics. This is pretty cool to have. I've never seen this out and about. Seen like Strength and, you know, those albums, Dedication, but I don't think I've ever seen this one. So I'm not sure what it sounds like, but the first EP, the first recorded works maybe of The Alarm, pretty cool. I mean, that they're on vinyl. These next 5 I picked up from the flea market. These were anywhere from $3 to $5. Toto Caolo with I Eat Cannibals. This is great, off the Chrysalis label. 80s dance pop. I think this is a British group. They were actually called Toto, but had to change their name because of Toto, you know, so they went with Toto Caolo. I Eat Cannibals. Dun, 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 dun. This is like the 12-inch version of that. It's got extended versions, part 1 and 2 on it. That's early 80s new wave dance pop. It's awesome shit. Philip Glass, the photographer. Not his best run by any stretch of the imagination, but to get this for fairly cheap is as well worth getting it, you know. His work in the 80s was really kind of hit or miss, in my opinion. Or at least some of the stuff I heard was better than others, you know. I mean, not that it sucked, but I had this on CD and I listened to it and I just fucking fell asleep. I'll have to give it another chance, though. If you're into avant-garde classical music, you might like this. Philip Glass, the photographer. Barclay James Harvest, great band out of England, with the time-honored Ghost 1975 release off of Polydor. I like this band, liked them for a long time. I'm not sure what time their what time they're coming. I'm not sure what time they're, you know, so I'm not sure what. Hold on a second here. Somebody's fucking texting me right now. Let me see if I can. Alright, sorry about that. I actually had to type. That's the first time I've ever done that. Type the response on there. Fucking A. My brother was texting me. He's asking me what time I'm going to pick him up. I'm like, I'm right in the middle of shooting a fucking video. So, sorry about that, guys. Time Honored Ghost, Barclay James Harvest. Really good stuff here. British band, kind of, they fall in that progressive rock thing. Some of their music has a little bit of an avant-garde kind of thing to it. Has a pastoral sort of beautiness to it. Or beauty to it. I don't know. I mean, I haven't listened to these guys enough, but I remember seeing their albums back in the day and always snag at them because I always kind of liked them. Roy Wood, On the Road Again. Often considered kind of a return to form as far as having that sort of real vibrant pop music kind of thrown out, but at the same time kind of maligned as the songs aren't as strong or memorable on here. Some of this sounds a lot like Roy Wood. The song Road Rocket on here is fucking killer. Great. This has got some of that glam, up-tempo rock and roll, which I kind of like. And then some of it's got that sort of almost like Beach Boys-esque kind of pop, vibrant shit with the song On the Road Again. So this is really cool. I'm a Roy Wood fucking nut. So anything I could find by him. This was $3 or $4. Can't remember. My Life in the Bush of Ghost, Brian Dino and David Byrne. This is actually pretty interesting music. I was listening to this the other day ago and I was like, God damn. Now I've had kind of a love and hate affair with this. It definitely is adding elements of world kind of like African beats into it and other kind of electronic flourishes. It's very fucking memorable. That second time I listened to this and in the last week, I was like, this is much better than I didn't like it when I got it earlier. Maybe I didn't quite understand it, but yeah, David Byrne and Brian Eno strike gold on this one. 1981 release off of Sire. This is fucking fantastic. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. I love this record. I fucking love this record. So I'll just make this brief because I gotta get, I got so many other records I gotta get through. This is Nazareth's best record in my opinion. And what got me started on this record was I lived with this kid and his family, and his name was Nate, and he was a skater, and he listened to Butthole Surfers and Dinosaur Jr. and Misfits and all this, you know, alternative music, whatever you want to call it, and he had this on fucking cassette, and I listened to this a lot with him, and we both love this album. It's just like, there really isn't a bad song on here. Of course, it's got Hair of the Dog, Love Hurts, Miss Misery, Changing Times is terrific, Beggar's Day, Rose in the Heather, and the last song, the epic closer on here, Please Don't Judas Me, is fucking great song, I think. This is epic as it gets. Alright, we're moving. I might get this done in under an hour. Aerosmith Live, bootleg. This is cool. This was $5. Yeah. Produced like shit, but I kind of like it. I really kind of like this record. So, 1978 release of live recordings, but it sounds like utter shit. Like the production on it is just garbage. But I certainly kind of like this record, anyways. You know, Chip Away the Stone. I like the song "Sight for Sore Eyes" on here. Their version of like Sweet Emotion, it sounds like garbage, but I still like it. This kind of reminds me of like Guns N' Roses, that live like a suicide, like that's got a shitty ass sound to it too. And I wonder if they were influenced by this. I don't know. Ginger Baker's Air Force, first album by Ginger Baker. So a lot of people think of this as like kind of a jazz fusion album. It's got plenty of rock on it. Forget that. There's plenty of rock on this too, on the Echo label. To get this for $5, this is like a $20 record usually, or you know, $15 to $20 record. I was always more curious about this than anything, but I decided to get it. So it's got Graham Bond from the Graham Bond organization, Chris Wood, Rick Gretsch, Steve Winwood on this. Lots of Denny Lane is on this. That's right, from Wings. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, it's jazzy and stuff, but it's definitely got a rock feel to it. This is great. This is Jack Bruce from Cream and Corky Lang and Leslie Bruce from Mountain doing a fucking really killer hard rock album. That's what this is. Why Don't Ya is the name of it. And the first song on here is just killer. Why Don't Ya? That song is just badass. Heavy blues, hard rock. It's great, for sure. I mean, Why Don't Ya alone is worth buying this. I love Mountain. This the idea of these three being together on one album. I got some really choice early 70s hard rock. This is Cactus, and this is, what is this? Hot and Sweaty? Hot and Sweaty. Hot and Sweaty. Live album, others, I believe. Once again, in really good shape for $5. He had a lot of these kind of records sitting in there because I was in England at the time. And he goes, "Yeah, I got some good classic rock stuff out there for this $5 a piece." And I went out there and I saw like Cactus in there and the Ginger Baker in there and the Doors and all this shit. Kind of went nuts. Let's see if I can get these done quickly. These next 5, so I can take time to get through these. The Doors, absolutely live. I've heard people say that this is a shitty Doors album, but I only really know this album for Ray Manzarek's version of Close to You, which I really kind of like. And it's sad, but I probably haven't listened to this album very much. The inner sleeves on here are shit, but the records are actually in really good shape. Like, you can see that's the inner sleeves falling apart. But I only have 2 Doors records, and they're both live albums. I have Alive She Cried, and then now this one in my collection. Fucking, I need to get caught up and get all their albums. I love the fucking Doors, you know. Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach. This is another one this is a $30 record usually, $25 to $30 I got. And it's got some scratches. I'm not going to pull the record out just for time's sakes. But yeah, Ain't Wasting Time No More is on this. This is great. I don't know if this is the follow-up to Brothers and Sisters, and I'm not sure if this was the album that had last album with Wayne Allman on it. Maybe it was, or maybe not. I don't remember. But this is, of course, has got that long instrumental Mountain Jam and Melissa and O'Brien's, whatever that song is, D minor or whatever. It's got some good stuff on there. My favorite track on here is my favorite Allman Brothers song ever, Blue Sky. I know they play it on the radio a lot, but I can't get past that song. To me, the first time I heard it, I was living in Michigan, and I fell in love with it and had always this in my collection, off and on throughout my years of collecting, because of that song Blue Sky. Wind and Wuthering, this is beautiful. Beautiful album by Genesis with Steve Hackett in it. I kind of like some of the records they did after Peter Gabriel left. You know, Trick of the Tail I think was one. This one is really good too. Blood on the Rooftops is a weird song on here. So is that Wat Gorilla, I believe that's on here. But the gorgeous, gorgeous Your Own Special Way. Nobody wrote affectionate songs quite like fucking Mike Weatherford. What Philip Collins say? He didn't say I love you and want you to be home. He He always said he didn't write songs like "I love you and want you to be, I want to be home with you." He always put "I love you and want to be home with you, darling." It was always like extra sentimental. And Your Own Special Way is absolutely gorgeous. One of Genesis' best ballads, without read. And to me, I love their ballads. I've liked stuff even like In Too Deep and all that. You know, old beat up Ozzy, Diary of a Madman. This is worth its weight in gold, I think. Just the fact it's an old beat up independent copy. Yeah, this thing's torn. You can see the cover, and the record is not in great shape. It's got scratches on it. I just bought it for the collectors because it's an old pressing. I have this already. You know, a follow-up to Blizzard is a great record. Maybe Tonight might be his best ballad. It's a really good one. Sado, Diary of a Madman, Little Dolls. God, fucking Believer's great on here. You Can't Kill Rock and Roll. Diary of a Madman is fucking killer. This is a good album by him. This was made in a very short amount of time as a follow-up to Blizzard of Oz. I remember they were kind of rushed in the studio when this came out. Surf's Up, Beach Boys. This is great. Great. They're probably best record from the 70s. This has some wonderful stuff on it. I mean, that's up to debate. I like most of the stuff from the 70s, even the LA album, or Beach Boys Love You. I love most of their stuff from the 70s. This has, of course, Field Flows on here. But, yeah, what's that song? Take a Load Off Your Feet. That does sound like something like Yola Tango or one of these indie bands would fucking do. It's weird. It's weirdly cool. So, okay, yeah, it's good. A good rocker on here where you actually hear rock guitar as student demonstration time. It's a good track on here. I'm getting through these. I just picked this up Saturday. The Pickwick British UK import of T-Rex. So I don't have any T-Rex in my collection other than having Electric Warrior on CD, and I think I have a Tyrannosaurus Rex thing. I'm going to show you the inside of this. This is a Pickwick. This is a knockoff label album, but I think it's because I was just in England that it brought back a lot of sentimental reasons. Lots of hits on here, greatest hits compilation, including Hot Love, Jeepster, Get It On, and the fucking rockin', I mean rockin', almost metal sounding Ride a White Swan, which is fucking awesome, man. If you're a T-Rex fan, this is pretty cool to have, I think. I'd like to get some of those studio albums. He had a copy of Electric Warrior for like $50. I'm like, fuck. I would never pay $50 for that. Even though I like that record a lot by him. This one's bad. This is probably the craziest record. I don't have a lot of time to talk about this, but this is Nina Hagen's Nun, Sex, Punk, Rock. Fucking German singer. This kind of defies description to me a little bit. This is absolutely fucking batshit. It's like Demanda Glass a few years before Demanda Glass, where her albums Litanies and Satan almost defies description. This one does too. Like I don't. It's like, you know, like some of Kate Bush's stuff gets a little crazy. This is crazy, kind of noisy, experimental new wave. Is the best way to describe it, and probably and a handful of great new wave albums that came out. This is so fucking bizarre. Songs like Smack Jack, Tatish Tarot, Tarot, Anti-World, Born in Ikex, Cosmic Shiva. This is bizarre. I mean bizarre. In the best possible fucking way. Doug had this in there, and I said, will you put this on for me? One track into it, which was Anti-World, I said, I want it. I want it that fucking bad. And he was like, look at him, he goes, well, it's kind of bad. I go, music is all really on how you depend on hearing it, right? And as the critic from the LA Weekly would say, Nina Hagen is not for the weak stomachs, hearts, or minds. Whenever you hear her, you'll know who she is. She has ways of making you listen. There's that guy from the LA Weekly. This is, I mean, this is like it is. It's pre like the Muslim Gauze. It's on some of the zaniness of like fucking, some of the Kate Bush stuff that gets pretty out there, especially on the Dreaming. Kind of post-punky a little bit, I guess, in that sort of Lenny Lovitch, Susie world, Susie Sue. But this is in its own fucking category of weirdness. I'm proud to say I have this in my collection. I love this kind of shit. The Stooges reissue. Yeah, I don't have anything to say. I'm not going to say one thing about this except for it's a reissue and it was $15. It's one of the great punk albums ever made. Proto-punk, punk, whatever you want to call it. I've had this on fucking CD for probably half of my musical listening life. I've never had it on vinyl till now. So, I mean, fuck. You know, I'm really rounding out my collection now and getting some of the things that I've always wanted on vinyl and things I've been looking forward to. And I'll show you the other one. But, yeah. I'm not even going to talk about the Stooges. You guys know who they are. This one I spent $20 on. Heavy metal soundtrack. Really fucking cool to have on vinyl. I don't have anything to say about this one either. You guys probably know this soundtrack. It's got Donald Fagen from Steely Dan. Stevie Nicks. The band Riggs has got a few songs on here. Donald Felder. Don Felder. With heavy metal. Sammy Hagar with heavy metal. Reach Out by Cheap Trick is killer on here. And I Must Be Dreaming. Devo, Blur's the Cult. The list goes on and on. This album kind of fluctuates in price. It used to be like a $5 record, and of course, like anything, the price gets out of fucking hand. This is one of my favorite soundtracks from the 80s. You know, I absolutely love this soundtrack. So, early 80s. Kind of a mix of pop and hard rock, and it is Queen Bee by Grand Funk. I love that song by them. That's on here. So, hey, fuck, man, we're killing it. We're killing it. We're gonna get done. Woohoo! Another band I don't have anything. I've only had one thing by them on vinyl, and this is like a part of the Now Playing series, which are like greatest hits compilations. This is the Velvet Underground's Now Playing. This was $20. This was a total whim buy. Super happy to get this. Yeah, this has Sweet Jane, Rock and Roll, full-length versions. Who Loves the Sun? Oh Sweet Nothing, I Found a Reason. And then some of those songs that came out on that VU release from the 80s. Ocean and I'm Sticking With You. Femme Fatale. Live at Max's, Waiting for the Man. Yeah, awesome. I'm a big fan of Velvet Underground. I've always liked this band, and most people do too, you know. I mean, I can't believe how much shit I've kind of gone through, and we're only at 53 minutes. The Four Skins, Riot in the Ghetto, unreleased radio and studio sessions, one of the great oi punk bands from their time. This is like straight oi as it should be. Real throaty vocals. I can't even do it right to give it justice. If you like street punk oi, you fucking love this. More on the oi side, I'd say this band was, but lots of unreleased radio and studio sessions on this. Stuff on the bumper sessions, demos on here, unreleased 45s, radio sessions. If you like British oi, you will love the Four Skins. Great band from the 80s. They're awesome. All right, we're getting into the nitty and gritty now. This is a band from Lebanon called Postcards, and this is After the Fire Before the End, I believe. Yeah, After the Fire Before the End. This is not their first album. It's like their fourth or fifth studio album, I think. It's down the line a little bit. And this band gets kind of muzzled in the shoegaze thing, and I think of them as more like kind of gothic post-punk. At least the stuff I heard on this album was. Maybe they started out shoegaze, I don't know. Postcards. This great place. I was reading an article where they were talking about how hard it was to play in Lebanon, to find places to play there, you know. Skinny Puppy's first release, which is an EP. I think I've had this on CD, but or nah, I don't know if I have. I don't think so. But yeah, it's time I get some Skinny Puppy in the collection. A lot more like dance rockish than I thought it would be. I thought the early stuff would be the most abrasive. It is not, and that order by them. I just got to remember that. I think it's got kind of a dance rock vibe to it. In of course it's industrial. At least the songs I heard on here were. So, Skinny Puppy, a first EP. I got 3 records left. These were $28 a piece. This one I totally took a chance on, and I'm hoping I get the benefits of the reward for it. It's hot in this fucking house without a fan right next to me, cuddling me. This is Muslim Gauze with the 1997 album Farouk Engineer. So Muslim Gauze is actually it's a one-man project, and his name was Brian Jones, Bryn Jones, who was from England, but I believe he was a Muslim. And he never went to India or any of those places, but had a strong stance, political stance. And he had been writing this kind of, he'd been performing. I think his first release came out in 1983, and he's got a huge discography as Muslim Gauze. And I think he died when he was 40 with some sort of unrelated or unknown blood disorder or something. Unknown blood disorder or something like that. Died really early, but his body of work is incredible. And so this is adding elements of like world music and electronic, harsh electronic, almost like power electronics in parts of it, and dance kind of in parts of it. I don't even know how to describe his music. I'd say it's just experimental electronic music, I guess. I don't know how. And there's world music elements in this. It's quite wonderful. The first of many beginnings of albums I will show you from Muslim Gauze when I see them. This is special. And the last 2, God, I cranked through these motherfuckers, guys. Cranked them. These are part of a collection for the first time since 1993, when the legendary tapes were released, I believe, were raw recordings of old part of the Colombian music scene in South Africa or South America. And this is the Colombian Reawakening Volume 1, and I have Volume 2 here. So both of these have a ton of stuff in the back here. On one we have Holocausto, who I do know, Akarak, Euthanasia, Belial, Averno. And on side 2 we have, let's show you the back of that one real quick. And side 2 we have Crucifixion, Tenebrarum, Confusion, Cataplectic, Degradeth, I love that name, Postguerra, Bastard. Yeah, these are cool to have. So my guess is like kind of maybe black metal, death metal stuff from that time period. There's my face. Now Holocausto was kind of, I think, like 90s black and death metal maybe. So yeah, this is cool. And that's it. I fucking ran through that fast for y'all. Fast for y'all. I'm gonna be off here in just a second, but that what I recorded the English videos. What I did was I posted them, and they were private, and I wasn't getting any real. I don't get a lot of views anymore anyway. I don't really care, but like I wasn't getting a lot of views, and I realized they were private because there was a lock on them. I'm like, oh shit! I had to go back and change the edit because I recorded those about 5 days apart, but they look like they're recorded on the same day. And I'm recording this just because I want to get this fucking done and out of the way. I want to get this done and out of the way, because I'm going to go to Tampa and I'll show you my haul there in a few weeks. But other than that, I'll be kind of caught up with this. And in July, there's probably going to be a lull in these in this, because I'm just not going to have enough to show. You know, I'm not going to have enough to show. So, and what I might do is show my DVD, Blu-ray, VHS tapes separate from my albums and cassettes and CDs and stuff like that, whenever I get up in Tampa. And I think I'm going to do it that way. So I'll have 2 videos, and I'll probably go to the record store at least once in July. So, and in August I'm going up to Michigan, so I'll have a huge update for you when I come back there. Lots of records, I'm sure. But that's going to be pretty much my summer. So I'm only really going to go to the record store once here in town for probably most of the summer, just because I'm just not going to have the time or the money. I got to start saving for this trip back to Michigan. So anyways, I gotta go. I'll see you guys. Thank you for your continued support. Whoever's watching this and taking their time watching an hour video, I applaud you. I will be back probably, like I said, 2 weeks with another video, depending on when I post this. I might not post this till next week. I haven't decided. I'll be back in a few weeks anyways with a new video. Thank you. Bye.